So for the defensive streaming options this week, I'm going to be 100% transparent up front. I only have 5 for you. Why? Because there's not enough tape, there's not enough data. It's very hard to know exactly how good or how bad teams' offenses are going to look and how good and how bad these defenses are actually going to be. Week 1 is kind of always an overreaction, and I don't want to do that. I'm not going to tell you every single ranking because I think it's a waste of your time. If you guys want that, I can do that, but if you prefer, every week I'm just going to give you my top 5, 6, however many I feel very, very comfortable about at the defensive streaming spot and the matchups that I like the best. If I don't feel hot about it, I'm not going to tell you about it. So for defensive streaming in week 2, one of my favorite matchups is going to be the Los Angeles Rams defense against the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward did not look too great in his first matchup. Again, it was the Broncos defense. I think the Rams are going to have, I don't know, maybe a league average defense, maybe slightly above that this season. They're going to have a good pass rush. They're going to be able to get after him in this game. I think the Rams are somebody who you could safely stream. Maybe you only get 10, 12 points out of them, but I think that they are going to be somebody who is worth streaming in week 2. Just wanted to note as well, after we get through week 3, I will have more definitive data and more tape that I can kind of judge. 3 games is a pretty good sample size. So going into week 4, my streaming options I will actually have ranked. But for these first 2 videos, I'm pretty much just going to tell you, like, these are the matchups I like, here's the reason why, and here we go. So for the second defensive streaming option that I do like in week 2, it is the New England Patriots going up against the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, Tua turned the ball over 3 times in that game, 2 interceptions, a fumble. I think that there's a real reality where you have one of 2 options. Either the Dolphins bounce back a little bit and the Patriots get pushed and it may not be the best streaming option, or the Dolphins, Mike McDaniels, Tua kind of continue to poo-poo in the bed and play not very well. If that is what we end up seeing, especially considering how good the defensive unit held the running game of Ashton Jeanty from the Raiders, I don't think Devon Achane is really going to be able to get going on the ground, so it's going to have to be a lot of passing by Tua. Obviously not super high scoring, so you're not really going to have to worry about the Dolphins going off scoring the ball a bunch. I just think it's going to be a pretty good opportunity if the Dolphins don't look good for the Patriots to come out with that DST and score quite a few points. So for myself, I kind of looked ahead. I picked up the San Francisco 49ers to be able to stream. In week 1, I wasn't 100% certain, but in week 2, I felt pretty confident. They're playing the Saints. Spencer Rattler is not going to have the training wheels 100% off. I don't think this offensive line for them is very good. I think the front 4 for the 49ers is going to get after it. If Brock Purdy misses or isn't 100% healthy and it's basically going to just be CMC and Ricky Pearsall out there, even if Brock Purdy's playing, I'm not thinking it's going to be a very high scoring game. I think they're going to be able to kind of run the football a lot because the Saints run defense isn't that great. So I think that sets it up where it's a kind of just a low scoring slog of a game. I think there's going to be a decent amount of sacks and probably a couple takeaways as well from the 49ers defense. So I feel pretty confident, which is why I picked them up specifically for this matchup to be able to stream them in week 2. Another matchup that I really do like, though, is the Los Angeles Chargers against the Oakland Raiders, or I guess Las Vegas Raiders now, excuse me. But when it comes to the Chargers, they're going to lock down the run. They're going to make it hard for you to pass the football. Harbaugh loves to have a really good defense. I think they're going to have another good top 10-ish defense this year, maybe probably top 5 realistically, but again, it's pretty early. The biggest thing, too, is Brock Bowers may miss this week. If he is out, it is Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker who have to catch the football, and that's pretty much it on this football team. Ashton Jeanty is going to be fine, but I still think he's going to continue to struggle behind this subpar offensive line for the Raiders. So I think you end up seeing a situation where it's probably not the highest scoring games, which is great. Number 2, there's probably going to be some takeaways. Geno does throw the ball down the field and put it into some harmful positions, so I think the Chargers will be able to capitalize on that. Probably get an interception, maybe even 2. The other big thing, obviously, again, if Brock Bowers misses, then they're kind of going to be in trouble. So they're not going to be able to move the ball down as efficiently. And I just think the Chargers are going to be, again, a good top 5, top 10 defense. So if I had to stream somebody with confidence, I would trust Jim Harbaugh in week 2. My last defensive streaming option, and again, kind of spicy, is the Seattle Seahawks versus the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 2. I said it coming into the season that I anticipated seeing Seattle have a top 10 to top 12-ish defense. So I think that there is an opportunity in week 2 for Seattle to stymie the run, which is going to be a big piece of the Steelers offense this season. They want to establish the run game. They want to play action pass with Aaron Rodgers. And if you take away the run game, it's pretty hard to play action pass. I think the front 4 for Seattle Seattle is going to absolutely be run stoppers the entire season. I think that's what we're going to see. It's why Christian McCaffrey had a hard time. I'm not trying to be hard on Jaylen Warren, but I think Christian McCaffrey is a running talent, and the offensive line for the 49ers is dramatically better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think there's a decent amount of sacks. I think there's a lack of yards for Pittsburgh. If they can rush 4 against Aaron Rodgers and get to him consistently, whether it's sacks or just hitting him in general, means that they're able to drop 7 in coverage. They're going to be able to have guys back there when Aaron Rodgers inevitably gives you 1, maybe 2 passes that they can pick off. And I think Seattle's secondary is good enough to do so this season. Again, they're going to be a fringe top 10, top 12 defense in the real NFL. And I think they'll be a viable streaming defense this season, throughout the season. This is kind of my stamp on them in week 2. I think that they're going to step up and they are going to be a decent streaming option for you in week 2. As we go along, as I have more data on these offenses, as I have more data on these defenses, as I have more tape on both the offenses and defenses, these streaming options are going to be dramatically better and more on point. I think streaming defense is super fun. That's why I wanted to do these videos. I think they're helpful. I think if you didn't get one of the top 2 or 3 defenses, and even if you did, you can technically outpace the score of those defenses if you pick the right options. If you guys are looking for my waiver wire video, I know it's past the waiver wire time already, unfortunately, but if you want to watch it, see who's on there, maybe one of the guys in the video that I have is still available in your league, go check that out. I'll have that down here somewhere below. Hopefully this video helps you get just a little bit closer to winning your fantasy football championship in 2025, especially if you have defenses in your fantasy football league. I'll see you guys again. No, hopefully you guys will see me again real soon. And until then, y'all have a blessed day.